All right, here we are. We're going to try it again. I tried doing this in the car and it didn't work. We lost connection. So it did not get produced and published on the day I normally would do it. I tried to do it today and it still didn't, it didn't connect in the car. So I did the proclamations already. So that's out there. And hey, Adonai, hey, Chris. So the proclamations are on a separate tape, has the same dates, except this one says scripture, and I'm just going to be doing the scripture reading on this one. And we've already done our proclamations. Well, we still trust in the Lord with all our heart and still lean not on our own understanding. And we still, in all our ways, acknowledge him, and he still will make our paths straight, right? That's right. So, chapter 27 and 28 of Exodus is this. Build an altar of acacia wood, 3 cubits high. It is to be square, 5 cubits long and 5 cubits wide. Make a horn at each of the 4 corners so that the horns in the altar are of one piece, and overlay the altar with bronze. Make all its utensils of bronze, its pots to remove the ashes, and its shovels to remove. It's pots to remove the ashes, and its shovels, sprinkling bowls, meat forks, and fire pans. Make a grating for it, a bronze network, and make a bronze ring at each of the 4 corners of the network. Put it under the ledge of the altar so that it is halfway up the altar. Make poles of acacia wood for the altar and overlay them with bronze. The poles are to be inserted into the rings so that they will be on 2 sides of the altar when it is carried. Make the altar hollow out of boards. It is to be made just as you were shown on the mountain. Make a courtyard for the tabernacle. The south side shall be 100 cubits along. Wow, that's long. Okay, the courtyard for the tabernacle. The south side shall be 100 cubits long and is to have curtains of finely twisted linen with 20 posts and 20 bronze bases and silver hooks and bands on the posts. When it says 100 cubits, let me see what that is here. It's about 150 feet long. Look how long that was. The north side shall also be 100 cubits long and is to have curtains with 20 posts, 20 bronze bases with silver hooks and bands on the posts. The west end of the courtyard shall be 50 cubits, so that would be 75 feet then, and have curtains with 10 posts and 10 bases. On the east side, toward the sunrise, the courtyard shall also be 50 cubits wide. The curtains, 15 cubits long, are to be on one side of the entrance, with 3 posts and 3 bases, and curtains 15 cubits long are to be on the other side with 3 posts and 3 bases. For the entrance to the courtyard, provide a curtain 20 cubits long of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and finely twisted linen, the work of an embroiderer, with 4 posts and 4 bases. All the posts around the courtyard are to have silver bands and hooks and bronze bases. The courtyard shall be 100 cubits long and 50 cubits wide, with curtains of finely twisted linen, 5 cubits high, and with bronze bases. All the other articles used in the service of the tabernacle, whatever their function, including all the tent pegs for it and those for the courtyard, are to be of bronze. Command the Israelites to bring you clear oil of pressed olives for the light, so that the lamps may be kept burning. In the tent of meeting outside the curtain that is in front of the testimony, Aaron and his sons are to keep the lamps burning before the Lord from evening till morning. This is to be a lasting ordinance among the Israelites for the generations to come. Chapter 28. Have Aaron your brother brought to you from among the Israelites, along with his sons Nadab and Abihu, Eleazar and Ithamar, so they may serve me as priests. Make sacred garments for your brother Aaron, to give him dignity and honor. Tell all the skilled men to whom I have given wisdom in such matters that they are to make garments for Aaron, for his consecration, so he may serve me as priest. These are the garments they are to make: a breastpiece, an ephod, a robe, a woven tunic, a turban, and a sash. They are to make these sacred garments for your brother Aaron and his sons, so they may serve me as priests. Have them use gold and blue, purple and scarlet yarn, and fine linen. Make the ephod of gold and of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and of finely twisted linen, the work of a skilled craftsman. It is to have 2 shoulder pieces attached to 2 of its corners, so it can be fastened. Its skillfully woven waistband is to be like of one piece with the ephod, and made with gold and with blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and with finely twisted linen. Take 2 onyx stones and engrave on them the names of the sons of Israel, in the order of their birth, 6 names on one stone and the remaining 6 on the other. Engrave the names of the sons of Israel on the 2 stones, the way a gem cutter engraves a seal. Then mount the stones in gold filigree settings and fasten them on the shoulder pieces of the ephod as memorial stones for the sons of Israel. Aaron is to bear the names on his shoulders as a memorial before the Lord. Make gold filigree settings and 2 braided chains of pure gold like a rope, and attach the chains to the settings. Fashion a breastpiece for making decisions, the work of a skilled craftsman. Isn't it interesting how often he says use a skilled craftsman? That God has equipped people with skills to be used in his kingdom, to be used for his purposes. You know, artists and speakers and teachers and craftsmen. Make it like the ephod of gold and of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and of finely twisted linen. It is to be square, a span long and a span long and a span wide. Let me look up what a span means. A span is 9 inches, so that would be a big person's hand. Mine is about 7. If I really stretch it, it's 8. So that would be a big span. Okay, it is to be a square, span long and a span wide, 9 inches by 9 inches, and folded double. Then mount 4 rows of precious stones on it. In the first row, there shall be a ruby, a topaz, and a beryl. In the second row, turquoise, a sapphire, and an emerald. In the third row, jacinth, jacinth. They don't give me a notice for that. I'll have to look that up. An agate and an amethyst. In the fourth row, a chrysolite, an onyx, and a jasper. Mount them in gold filigree settings. There are to be 12 stones, one for each of the names of the sons of Israel, each engraved with a seal, like the name of the one of the 12 tribes. For the breastpiece, make braided chains of pure gold, like a rope. Make 2 gold rings for it, and fasten them to the corners of the breastpiece. Fasten the 2 gold chains to the rings at the corners of the breastpiece, and the other ends of the chains to the 2 settings, attaching them to the shoulder pieces of the ephod at the front. Make 2 gold rings and attach them to the other 2 corners of the breastpiece on the inside next to the ephod. Make 2 more gold rings and attach them to the bottom of the shoulder pieces in front of the ephod, close to the seam just above the waistband of the ephod. The rings of the breastpiece are to be tied to the rings of the ephod with blue cord, connecting it to the waistband so that the breastpiece will not swing out from the ephod. That must have been a really striking outfit, don't you think? God is so specific about how this looks and the colors and the design of it. I think it must have been quite impressive. Whenever Aaron enters the holy place, he will bear the names of the sons of Israel over his heart on the breastpiece of decision as a continuing memorial before the Lord. Also, put the Urim and the Thummim in the breastpiece, so that they may be over Aaron's heart whenever he enters the presence of the Lord. Thus, Aaron will always bear the names of making decisions for the Israelites over his heart before the Lord. Not sure what that means. He will always bear the means of making decisions. He's mentioned that twice now about making decisions. Back up, verse 29. He will bear the names of the sons of Israel over his heart on the breastpiece of decision. We'll have to look into that. Make the robe of the ephah entirely of blue cloth, with an opening for the head in its center. There shall be a woven edge like a collar around this opening, so that it will not tear. Make pomegranates of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn around the hem of the robe, with gold bells between them. The gold bells and the pomegranates are to alternate around the hem of the robe. Aaron must wear it when he ministers. The sound of the bells will be heard when he enters the holy place before the Lord, and when he comes out, so that he will not die. Make a plate of pure gold and engrave on it. What's that? The sound of the bells will be heard when he enters the holy place before the Lord, and when he comes out, so that he will not die. I guess I'd heard that the reason why they put bells on was that if the bells stopped, they knew that the priest had died and they could drag him out by his foot, like they tied a rope around his ankle, that if he did something wrong, he could be pulled out. But this is different. They're saying the bells would be heard so that he won't die. That's a little different. Well, maybe we'll get clarification as we go along. Make a plate of pure gold and engrave on it as a seal, holy to the Lord. Fasten a blue cord to it to attach it to the turban. It is to be on the front of the turban. Oh, a plate, not a plate to eat off of, but more like like you'd put on a plaque, a plate that says something on it. It will be on Aaron's forehead, and he will bear the guilt involved in the sacred gifts the Israelites consecrate, whatever their gifts may be. It will be on Aaron's forehead continually, so that they will be acceptable to the Lord. Weave the tunic of fine linen and make the turban of fine linen. The sash is to be the work of an embroiderer. Make tunics, sashes, and headbands for Aaron's sons to give them dignity and honor. After you put these clothes on your brother Aaron and his sons, anoint and ordain them. Consecrate them so they may serve me as priests. Make linen undergarments as a covering for the body, reaching from the waist to the thigh. Aaron and his sons must wear them whenever they enter the tent of meeting or approach the altar to minister in the holy place, so that they will not incur guilt and die. This is to be a last ordinance for Aaron and his descendants. So that's the 2 chapters that we were reading. And I wonder if I should, I forget how many chapters there are altogether. 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. There's 40. So we've got like 10 or 11 yet to go. 11 yet to go. And how many days do we have left? 5? Here's the 24th, 25th. We'll make it work. We'll make it all work out. All right. I guess we're just getting all the details right now. And I do find them interesting. And we're finding out little bits and pieces here. Like that breastplate of decision. That's interesting. I don't know what that means. So I'm sure if I ask Chris, he'll have something in one of his books where we can look that up. Well, I'm getting tired. We had a busy, nice time visiting our son and daughter-in-law and getting to see the grandkids. It was very nice. I got to went out shopping with my granddaughter and got her some storybooks and got her some little toys. And we went Mother's Day shopping so that she could get some things for her mommy for Mother's Day. And Chris helped our son put up a chicken coop. They got 6 chicks, and they've been raising them, and now they're half-sized. They're almost full-sized. I don't know if you can see. About that doesn't tell you anything. More than a span. And they're real cute. And you can hear their little peep, 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 peep. And when you go to look at them, they all stop and look at you, and they stop peeping. So it's cute. And we got to pet one of them. My granddaughter was counting, they have 17 animals altogether. because she's counting like the 5 goldfish as, in the grand scheme of things. But they have 2 dogs, 2 cats, 6 chickens, like 5 fish, a hamster, and something else. A frog or a salamander or something. I forget what that other thing was. So I forget what the grand total was. 16, 17 critters. And the kitties are nice. Oh, that we were dressing the cats in doll clothes just before we left. Ava's asking me, Grandma, will you help me dress the kitties? And it's like, yeah, let's dress the kitties. Her kitties are very gentle. I think they're part rag doll, and when you pick them up, they just completely go limp. And so they're kind of easy to play with, and they love Ava, and she can do anything to them, and they don't mind. I mean, she's not rough with them or anything, but they love being with her, and you can pet their bellies and rub their bellies and their backs, and they're just such nice kitties. So we found a couple little tops that we could put on the cats. You know how cats are funny, then they're trying to back out of things and they walk around all low. It was just good for a laugh. And then you took them off. And they have 2 Great Pyrenees dogs, which are huge white dogs. And they're as quiet and gentle as sheep. They're like having 2 big sheep in the house. And then our grandson, who's just kind of into things. He's almost 4 years old, and he has his own ideas about things. He's pretty funny. He loves to tease, and he loves to be a bit of a rascal. And he kept squirting the hose, and he just kept squirting the porch, and they didn't want him to squirt the porch. And he wasn't willing to stop. And finally, our son said, "If you keep squirting the porch," which is where they have like the cushions on their outdoor furniture, and my husband had his jacket there. I mean, all these things they didn't want to get wet, and they had kept moving him away and down the stairs and away, but he kept squirting it up that way anyhow. They said, "If you keep doing that, we're going to squirt you with the hose." Well, I guess he kept doing it, and my son went and took the hose. He just gave it a quick, just shot the hose out, up, over, and out. And the little guy's just running like crazy. And then a couple raindrops fell on him. You couldn't even see him get wet. And then he started crying because he didn't want to be wet. They're like, "You got to stop squirting the porch." Oh, dear. Kids are kids. So anyhow, we had a nice visit. Chris and I are home, and it feels good to be home tonight. And I think we'll be heading to bed early. I look tired. I look at myself. It's like I'm tired. But it's okay. That's why I try to do 4:30 readings. 8:30, I'm tired. All right, you guys, thanks for coming, and I will get back on track with our readings, but we'll do the readings I just read you now were for yesterday, actually. So we'll get caught up. We'll get caught up, and we'll get this wrapped up. We'll get Exodus wrapped up by the end of April, and we'll start something new in May. And my heart is kind of set on doing the book of Matthew, so that might be, we'll see if that's what's coming up next. I haven't prayed about it, but typically it's where my heart goes. It's where if God puts it on my heart, that's a good place to go. So, all right, see you tomorrow. You have a good night. God bless you, and we will see you tomorrow at 4:30 Eastern time. That's the plan. All right.